UFC Qatar is this Saturday. It's actually a pretty good card with some intriguing fights. And I've had my grape Kool-Aid rise flavor, and I've had my peanut butter and banana sandwich. So let's get right into this. Now, starting off with the prelims, we have Merrick Bolio. I'll figure out how to say it after Saturday. But Maric Boreal versus Denzel Freeman. Denzel Freeman's actually pretty good and pretty well-rounded. And I think he has a win over Steven Asplund, is his name? Yeah, Steven Asplund. And he just got signed to the UFC through the Contender Series. And Merrick Bolio, he's 6-0, all finishes. I believe 3 submissions, 3 ground and pound. He has some good grappling, but he hasn't gone against anybody good. He has his opponents mostly have losing records. I'm pretty sure all but one of his opponents have losing records. And Denzel Freeman actually has some good striking and some good grappling of his own, and he's beaten somebody who just made his way to the UFC, so I think he's going to be a lot more well-rounded. I think he'll actually be able to defend the takedowns as well, and I just think he's a lot more powerful and a lot better on the feet, so I think Denzel Freeman's going to get this one done. I think he's going to win by a round 2 TKO, maybe ground and pound, but maybe he just drops some and the ref kind of calls it right after that, so yeah, I'm going to go Denzel Freeman. Moving on. Nurullo Aliev versus Shamrock. This is Shamrock's UFC debut. I know that. He trains with Next Gen MMA with Paddy Pimblett and Luke Riley, who fights later on in this card. And Nurullo Aliev, he's really good at grappling offensively, and he has really good control time. And I know he can go to a decision because I'm pretty sure most of his wins are decisions. But he has pretty good grappling. He beat Joe Solecki and Rafael Alves, both by unanimous decision. And I think Shamrock's really good, but I think this is a tough fight to have in your UFC debut. So I'm going to go Nurullo Aliev to get this one done by decision. And yeah, let's go with that. Moving on. Ismail Naurdiev versus Ryan Loder. Who did Ismail just lose to? Oh my goodness. I forget who he lost against, but I know Ryan Loder is coming off a loss against Yakhyayev, who's actually not terrible, but he also just lost his fight. And I know his UFC wins against Robert Valentin via ground and pound in round 2. Can he take down Ismail? I think he'll be able to take down Ismail Naurdiev. I think Ismail is actually pretty bad. But he has a lot of fights, but I think he's pretty bad. And I think he's lost against some bad guys. He's been pressured. He has decent striking, though. But I think he'll be able to get pressured. And I don't think he has the greatest grappling. And I think Ryan Loder will be able to actually pressure him. So I'm going to go Ryan Loder to get this one done by decision. Moving on to the next fight. Oh, this one's actually a banger. Bekzat Almakhan. He lost to Umar Nurmagomedov his first fight, but that's actually not a bad loss. And who did he just beat? I believe he just beat Brad Katona. Yeah, he just beat Brad Katona, but I don't think Brad Katona's that good now. Alexander Topuria, we all know, brother of Ilia Topuria, clean boxing, maybe even better boxing, but doesn't hit nearly as hard as his brother, obviously. He has really good grappling as well, but he's been knocked out before, but I don't think, Almakhan's actually a pretty powerful and explosive kickboxer, but I think Topuria is going to have the better game plan. So I'm going to go Alexandre Topuria to get this one done by, I think we'll get it done by split decision, 29-28. Yeah, let's go with that. Moving on. Oh, man. We got Abdul Rahman Yakhyayev versus Rafael Cerqueira. I think I'm just going to go Abdul Rahman Yakhyayev. Rafael's lost all 3 of his fights in the UFC. I know he's lost 2 of them by TKO. I know he's lost the decision also. And this is Abdul's post-Contender Series debut. He looked pretty good on the Contender Series. I think the UFC is kind of sending Rafael out there to get finished. And yeah, I'm going to go with Abdul Rahman Yakhyayev. Alright. Next, moving on. Alex Perez versus Asu Almabayev. This fight's actually pretty good, honestly. But I'm going to go... Oh, wait, hold on. Sorry. I'm going to go... Alex Perez, oh my goodness. Alex Perez has very good takedown defense. He can be pressured and he can lose because of that, and he loses to really good grapplers. But I don't think Asu has the type of grappling that Alex Perez has lost to. But I do think he has that pressure style. Man, this is also a close one. But I'm gonna go Asu Almabayev to get this one done by decision. I think he's gonna shoot a lot of takedowns and just pressure Alex Perez for all 3 rounds. And yeah, I think Asu's gonna get this one done by decision. Moving on. Sorry about that. Nicholas Dalby versus Sajid Izagakhmaev. Nicholas Dalby is coming off that loss to Randy Brown and a split decision loss to Ruzabayev. Was it Ruzabayev? No, it wasn't Ruzabayev. It was it was Fakhretdinov. Yeah, Renat Fakhretdinov. It was a split decision loss that he should have maybe won. But then he got KO'd by Randy Brown. And this is Sajid's first fight since like 2022, I believe. Yeah, his last fight was in 2022. He has good striking, good grappling. He's also on a 5-fight win streak. But I can't really say momentum's the same after taking 3 years off. So, but I think Nicholas Dalby's 41. I think Sajid's going to have a lot more left in the tank. This is his UFC debut. I think he'll be excited. I think he's well-rounded, and I honestly think he'll get this one done by a Darce choke. I think he'll drop Dalby in the first round. Dalby will probably shoot in on his legs, and he'll get the Darce choke. So moving on. Luke Riley. He doesn't have a photo, but Luke Riley versus Bogdan Grad. This fight's actually also a banger. Bogdan Grad is coming off of that loss. Yeah, just one loss to Muhammad Naimov, who's actually like better than average and actually pretty good, honestly. He beat Lucas Alexander in the UFC, but I don't think Lucas Alexander's that good. He has decent boxing and honestly pretty good power, so he could catch Luke Riley. But Luke Riley, he's making his UFC debut. He has really nice striking. He trains with Paddy Pimblett and Shem at Next Gen MMA. But he's gotten rocked, and he's okay with getting rocked because he's gotten rocked in 1 fights, which is actually really good to see. So he could get cracked by Bogdan, but I still think he has the overall better striking. That could come back to haunt me, but I think he has the overall better striking. I think he's going to look good here. I think this fight's going to be like the fight of the night, and I think he's going to get done by decision, maybe 30-27. Yeah, I'm going to say he has more tools on the feet, more momentum. I'm going to go with Luke Riley by decision. Moving on. First fight of the main card. Tagir Ulanbekov and Koryoji Horiguchi. This is Koryoji's first fight in the UFC in like 10 years. Actually, like I'm pretty sure it's like 10 years to this day. 9 years on this day was his last fight in the UFC. That is insane. That's actually insane, dude. But he's mostly fought in Rise and won after his first stint. He has on a 3-fight win streak, 5-fight unbeaten streak. He has good striking, good takedown defense, but I don't think his takedown defense has been against guys with Ulanbekov's grappling level. And Ulanbekov's actually pretty good. He's not the best on the feet, but like I said, he's pretty good grappling-wise. So I'm going to go to Tagir Ulanbekov to get this one by decision. I think it's going to be 29-28. I think Koyoji's going to be able to take 1 round off of him. It'd be awesome if he won his first fight in like 10 years back in the UFC, but I don't think he'll get it done. I think Tagir's too good grappling-wise, and I think Tagir's going to get it done. Moving on. This is no longer the fight. It is now Waldo Cortez-Acosta versus Shamil Gaziev. Man, it's really hard to have that without the graphic on in the face, but Waldo Cortez-Acosta is coming in by like 3 days' notice. I feel like he honestly does have the better striking and better gas tank. Shamil's pretty good, obviously. He has good power. But I'm going to go Waldo Cortez-Acosta to get this one done by round 3. I just can't trust Shamil's gas tank. I know it was round 4 that he had cardiac arrest and had to have the fight stopped, but unironically, I think he will be gassed out from the activity of Waldo Cortez-Acosta, from the jabs and the movement. And I think Waldo Cortez-Acosta is going to get this one done by like TKO in round 3. So, yeah, I'm going to go Waldo Cortez-Acosta. Maybe I'll put a photo of him on the screen there. We'll see what happens. And, yeah, Waldo Cortez-Acosta, round 3, TKO. Could be wrong, though, because 3 days notice is insane. Moving on. Jack Hermansson and... Or I'm just going to call him Orolbai. Orolbai is really good. He's coming up from lightweight. He looks really good at lightweight. And Jack Hermansson's coming down from a loss. He just got KO'd badly by Gregory Rodriguez, and now he's moving down to welterweight. He's gonna have the reach, and he's gonna have the leg reach. Yeah, as you can see on the screen right there. Sorry, I need some water. But I think overall, the move up's gonna be benefit Orolbai a lot more than the change is gonna affect Hermansson. I think it's gonna be kind of negative for Hermansson, especially after that knockout. Hermansson's experience and length should really give him the edge, but I don't think it will. I think Orolbai is going to be faster. I think he's going to benefit more. And I think he'll be able to honestly get a TKO too. So I'm going to call Orolbai by TKO in round 1. We're going to go round 1 TKO. It's going to be like he's going to drop him and elbow him. That's my theory for this fight. Moving on to the next fight. Volkan Oezdemir versus Alonzo Menifield. Volkan Oezdemir is coming off that loss to... It was Carlos Alberg, but that's not a bad loss. He's number 3 or 4 ranked. Number 2 ranked probably now since he got that win over Reyes too. And Alonzo Menifield's coming off that win versus... What's his name? Amor Said or Said Amor, one of the two. But it wasn't really that crazy of a good fight. Oezdemir's a heavy hitter and I feel like he has the better technical striking and the better footwork. And I feel like the power is pretty similar. I think Alonzo hits harder, but I think the power is going to be much more present for Oezdemir, who's a little bit better, I think. So I'm going to go, I personally, over here, I'm going to go with Oezdemir by TKO. Maybe round 1, maybe round 2. Drop Alonzo Menifield pretty bad, and he might catch him with an elbow, honestly. Yeah, I'm going to say he elbows him while Alonzo's coming into the clinch or something, and he's going to drop him, and then he's going to take the back and just ground and pound and get the win. Moving on. The co-main event, Belal Muhammad versus Ian Machado Garry. I'm pretty sure this is a 3-round fight. If this was a 5-round fight, my pick would be a little bit different here, but since it's a 3-round fight, oh man. I've actually heard this is a number 1 contender fight too. I think Ian Garry is going to have the better strike. I know Ian Garry's going to have the better striking. I wonder how his takedown defense and his grappling is going to look against Belal Muhammad. But I think he'll honestly be able to stuff those takedowns down and hit him with the body kicks from a distance. And he'll be able to control the fight. Belal's strength is being able to control the fight, to be honest with you guys. It's his pressure, his wrestling, and those are what makes it for him to win fights, essentially. He needs to control the fight and be all over guys. And I don't know if he's going to be able to control Ian Garry. Like Shavkat did it, but oh man, I feel like Ian Garry's going to have gotten better since that fight. That was like over 11 months ago, and he's been able to shoot the box the whole time. Been getting better the whole time. He's coming off a win off Protez. That win looks really good for him now since Protez just won last week. And yeah, I think Ian Garry's going to win this one by decision because I'm sure it's 3 rounds. I think Belal's going to be able to take a round off. I think it's going to be 29-28 Ian Garry. And I think Belal's going to be able to take maybe 1 round off. Maybe Ian Garry will be able to transition and grab the back and steal the round. Yeah, I'm going to go Ian Garry. I feel like that's a safe pick here. I think he'll do better. I'd love for it to be wrong, and I'd love for Belal to slam him on his head like he did to Leon Edwards. I'd love to see that, but I don't think that will happen, unfortunately, and I think Ian Garry's going to squeak a decision win. Moving on to the main event. Dan Hooker versus Arman Tsarukyan. Arman, neither of these guys have fought in 2025 yet. Arman last fought at UFC 300. He was scheduled to fight Islam earlier this year in January, but he pulled out. Dan Hooker pulled out also earlier this year, but that was to Justin Gaethje. I think he broke his arm again for that. This fight, I'm going to go Arman to win this fight. I think he has the better boxing, and I think that's honestly going to take Dan Hooker by surprise because he's just thinking of the grappling threat. So I think he's going to win the better boxing, not the better boxing, maybe better boxing, honestly. The takedown threat's always going to be there, the sharp boxing. I think he'll take Dan Hooker down for at least the first 2 rounds. He'll grind it out, maybe get some submission threats. But I think Tsarukyan's actually going to win by stoppage in the 4th round, man. I think he's going to find a round. I think this fight is kind of going to be like the Tsarukyan-Silva fight, where he gets maybe dropped or wobbled by Dan Hooker at one point, but I think he'll carry through, do some ground and pound, and yeah, I think he's going to finish Dan Hooker in round number 4. And those are my predictions for UFC Qatar. Do not bet with those picks at all. I'll see you guys Sunday for the review. And yeah, see you guys then. Peace.